Our movie begins with Dr. Adam with his girlfriend, Dawn. He wakes up and prepares breakfast for her. He has something important to tell her and is in a hurry to the point that he proposes to her in the bathroom. She agrees to marry him, and Dawn agrees to marry Adam. After that, he goes to work at the university. He becomes a doctor in somatic cell nuclear transplantation and has a lot of research on cloning. The wedding is held, and they get married. But one day, while Dawn is working in the workshop, she is involved in an accident and dies due to a fire in her workshop. All that remains of her are her ashes, which Adam decides to keep as a visa made by his wife. Adam's life turns into sadness because of his love for his wife Dawn. He misses his wife very much. After the burial ceremony is completed, he goes home and watches a video of his marriage to Dawn. He spends most of his time in his lab trying to clone a mouse. His experiment succeeds, and he clones the 1,000 people in front of him and reads what is in her hair on her brush and gives him the device that the cloning will be done after 30 days, and he continues his life in teaching, and Bella touches him. Emma begs to be his assistant to learn more from him and takes her to his lab and tells her that the experiment he intends to do is morally ambiguous and no one is allowed to know about it, and Emma agrees to share his experiment and knows what Adam intends to do. But because she admires him, she decides to help him, even though she rejects the experiment altogether, and Adam's plan to speed up the cloning succeeds, and he opens his device, and Bella is down his cloned wife, and he transports her to his house. But during the transport, he finds her starting to get disabled, and her matter is progressing quickly. And she tells him that because of the acceleration of her genes, her speed continued after she left the machine, and this made her get disabled quickly and die, and he gets rid of her and burns her and begins the cloning experiment on a mouse to extend her life. But when she makes a mistake and takes the same DNA from a cloned mouse, it dies immediately. Adam explains to her that it is not possible to clone a cloned mouse because the copy must be taken from the DNA of the original mouse. He repeats the experiment until they reach the conclusion that cloning must take enough time for the genes to form. Adam is able to adjust his experiment on cloning Dawn so that he makes her a little girl to raise and grow up within 3 or 4 months. He begins to raise her and teach her everything during the 3 months. The life insurance investigator is watching them because there is $1 million life insurance policy on Dawn. The investigator suspects that Adam might have killed his wife to take the insurance money. Time passes, and Dawn grows up and is the same age and appearance as the original Dawn before she dies. He keeps her at home. Dawn asks about the reason for the difference in appearance in the picture. They acknowledge the truth, and he takes her to the roof where she put her, the vase of his ashes, and he tells her that she was his wife and died in a fire, and he tried to save her, but she refused to hear him and kept moving her back until she fell from the roof and died, and he went down to get rid of her in the house's incinerator, and he went back to watch their joy. But he did not give up and repeated his experience again with the help of his mother, and he tries to adjust his experience this time, and Peter, either she is the one who raises Dawn for 3 months so that he does not feel the feeling of fatherhood towards his wife, and the mother agrees to raise Dawn, and she grows up and raises her on the things that Adam asked of her. But after Dawn grows up, she refuses to live with Adam because he is a stranger to her, and she does not know how to adapt to life with him because he controls everything she does, because he wants to make an exact copy of his real wife. And Dawn is not able to continue her life in this way, and it ends. And thus Adam burns her and puts her in another vase next to the original, and thinks to repeat his experience, but chooses a different person this time. Robbie Dawn is different from Amma and Bill to Camille, his friend and wife, and tells her everything he did in his experience, and she agrees to help him in exchange for letting her friend live the same life she lived before, like introducing her to her previous friend first. 4 months pass, and she meets Dawn, her friend, but she loves him and chooses to live with him and not with Adam because she does not know him. Adam tries to bring her back to his house, and Abel becomes her friend and understands that Dawn will die soon because she's aging quickly, and he is the only one who can save her. He enters to meet her and sees that her hair is turning white and her weakness is starting to show. He tries to convince her to come back with him so he can save her, but she chooses that if she's going to live, she will live with friendship in his house. They read instead of treating her because he sees that if Dawn is not for him, she will not be for anyone but him. He tells them that he will give her an injection with the treatment, but in reality the right injection is... There is poison in it, and Dawn dies again and knows what happened, and tells Adam that he turned from a scientist into a crazy killer, and that the matter is no longer dependent on saving her but rather possessing her. And Emma apologizes to him that she will not be able to help him, and after that she leaves the lab and goes. And a lot of time passes in Adam's attempts to clone his wife, until one time she enters the lab and makes a copy of Adam himself, and leaves him to be raised in an orphanage until he grows up after 4 months, and she goes to adopt him and lives with him because she loved him. And at the same time, Adam has finished all of his wife's hair, and there is no way for him to clone Dawn more than that. And the number of vases on the roof of his house increases until he is forced to tell Dawn's family about what he was doing so that they can help him. Maybe they will agree to bring him hair from Dawn's room so that he can complete cloning her, and indeed he finds the hair that he wants, and indeed he is able to make a second clone, and gives it to her family so that they can raise it, in the same way that they raised her with it before. And after he returns home, he finds out that the insurance investigator is accusing them of killing his wife to seize the insurance money, and that he will report him and get him into trouble. After a lot of talk between them, Adam discovers that the investigator came to him with a joke, and that he will keep quiet in exchange for Adam giving him $1 million. They read and give him a whiskey with poison in it to kill him. After that, he burns his body, but takes a hair from it and makes a copy of the investigator and hands it over to the police so that suspicion is removed from him. After Dawn grows up with her family, they let her move in and live with Adam, who decides to tell her the truth about what happened again, and he breaks Dawn's love for him as always. And the vase with his real wife's ashes in it breaks, and he decides to let her go back to live with her family after she refuses to continue with him. He goes to bury her ashes in her grave. They read and he returns to his normal life again, and he calls Emma to apologize to her for what he did to her and that he wants her back. His second assistant, but she is living with the cloned Adam, and tells him that she is busy and is working on her research in the library, and closes the road in his face, and they decide that he goes to the library to apologize to her himself. But he finds his copy with her, and they fight, and he understands from his mother what she did, and that she loves him as he loves his wife, and when she finds him interested in his dead wife, she decides to make a copy of herself to live with her. But it is just a copy, and she wishes for the real Adam. And after she confesses her love to him, he decides to stay with her. And an idea comes to him that he can let his copy meet the copy of his wife. Maybe they will love each other. And that is what actually happens. And his copy loves the copy of his wife, and they live together in her parents' house, and Adam chooses to overcome the sadness of Dawn's death and live with the mother he loves. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Movie Story for more amazing movie recaps. Let us know in the comments which movie you'd like us to cover next. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.